Hey y'all, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Gyan Dive. My name is Shaylee and I'm the Gyan Dive's host. I haven't been here in a hot minute, but I'm so glad to be back. It's like a part of me has come back to me. Um, I want to be honest with you as to why I disappeared. Like I haven't brought out a solo episode in quite a bit. So, I honestly feel like I just wasn't doing the best mentally, and I just felt like I wasn't in the right state of mind to record. And for me, it's a thing that whatever advice I give you guys or whatever I'm telling you guys in these videos, I want to have embodied already in my own life or I'm currently embodying. I just don't want to give you guys advice or insights from a place where I actually don't do the stuff or I feel like that's fake. And that is not what we are on this channel, this podcast. We're authentic people, and I'm sure if you've landed on my page, you are also an authentic person. And yeah, I feel like that's just not genuine. So, how was I going to give you guys advice when I myself wasn't feeling that way? So, I stepped back for a while, but I'm back now, and I'm going to be here for a while. I hope so. I'm going to make sure that I record every single week because honestly, this isn't just something that I'm doing to do, it's something that I genuinely feel like is my purpose and something that I enjoy doing. Like it brings back, I don't know, like the spark in me. And I just feel so much more fulfilled knowing that hopefully my content has uplifted someone. And it's not just my own wisdom or my own insights that I'm bringing through this podcast. It's the wisdom and the insights of various experts who I interview. I had an episode with Dr. Punkit Jain. It's linked below. Go check that one out. But I've been doing that, and it's the experts' insights that I pull through this podcast, and I'm gonna have a few in the near future as well. So stay tuned for that. But it's also ancient wisdom. It's not my own. It's just something that I'm packaging into something that's comprehensive and that's something that you people can comprehend. By you people, I mean people of my generation, because we're not used to you know, having the patience to go through text. We want something that's quick, something that's adjustable, something that's intriguing, and I'm hoping that I can bring that to you guys through this podcast. So, I've been learning something lately. You can't wait for things to be perfect. You can't wait for you to be ready and for everything to be perfect, for you to feel ready to take action, right? Feeling follows action and not the other way around. Like, oftentimes we wait for motivation or for feeling ready. Like, you'll just prepare and prepare and prepare until you're ready and just not take the action until then. But it's really a way of our brain kind of like delaying taking the action, which is doing the hard thing. And our brains are wired to stay in our own comfort zones. We don't want to go out of there because it's scary. And our brain wants to survive. We want to survive. um Going out of your comfort zone is risky because you're going into the unknown, but it's also the place that gives you the most rewards. So this is what we're going to dive into for this episode. Pause this video right now and write down in the comment section what you're waiting to do. What is that one thing you're waiting to do that you're just waiting to feel ready? You're waiting for the perfect conditions to somehow be there. It could be anything. Um Write that down and also reflect a little bit on it as to why. What is really blocking you? What are you scared of? If you really want to dive more into it, I think that's a good journaling prompt that you guys can use. But yeah, go ahead and do that. For example, for me, something that I was waiting for everything to be perfect to do was A, recording this podcast, and B, I love to dance, so putting out a dance workshop. So those are the things that I personally had. You guys go ahead and write that down. Now that you're back, yes. So the reason why I want to be consistent for this podcast is because this podcast is meant to uplift people of my generation through the ancient texts like the Gita. I want to distill this ancient wisdom into something digestible and practical for my generation. I fear the wisdom is going to be lost otherwise. I was recently having a conversation with two of my friends, and they were talking about how they love Hinduism and they love um, the different practices, but oftentimes they don't know why we do certain things. And I think that's a thing that a lot of us grapple with. Like, we know we've been told to do these rituals or we've been doing these practices our whole lives, but we oftentimes don't know why we do them. So, in a series that is coming up soon with a guest, we're going to be diving into all those questions and hopefully we get our answers because it's about time that we get these answers. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. I'm super excited for that because I'm going to be learning so much and I'm also going to be able to help y'all learn about it. So, yeah, that's something that was really bothering me. Like the fact that so many people in our generation, yeah, they know whatever about Hinduism, but they don't really know why we do certain things and they feel lost. And I feel like if the wisdom isn't spread, it's going to be lost because who's going to carry it on? If we ourselves don't understand why, how are we going to transmit that to the next generation? And these days, there's so much information available right at our fingertips. And what I've discovered is Hinduism was more of a science than a religion. You know, it had a lot of scientific practices that we were given through the form of rituals, but they were actually super scientific and they were super advanced, you know? So I want to dive into that. And we're going to have a series, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, yeah. So, waiting to feel ready. Let me start with something outside of work because I think that shows this pattern even more clearly. So, dance has always been a big part of my life. If you guys know, you know. I've been dancing since I was very young, like 4 years old. My mom had her own dance academy, and I've been learning classical dance as well as just, doing Bollywood dance, like participating in every single dance thing my school would have, performing at weddings, like, the list goes on and on. But it's pretty much been a big part of my life, my whole life. And I've done this dance workshop where I didn't have a proper setup, but I decided to do it in my basement anyways because I was like, why not? I was feeling super inspired around that time and I just decided to do this dance workshop. And it left me feeling super fulfilled. It was my first choreo that I did on my own. And the people who came to the dance workshop, while yes, they were mostly my friends, they really, really enjoyed it. And it just gave me a sense of purpose, just like this podcast does. Sorry, guys, need to stay hydrated, but yeah, y'all stay hydrated too. Anyways, I did this dance workshop not feeling prepared for it at all. And then, yeah, the second workshop hasn't come around, but I've been thinking about it for months now. But the things that have been bothering me are like, oh, like I don't have like proper mirrors. It's gonna be in my basement. I don't know if it's like proper or not. But instead of waiting for all the logistics, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I don't care if I don't have a mirror. So what? I can still choreograph a dance and like teach the people and have them just like feel themselves and connect with themselves. And that's the whole point of dancing, you know? So I decided today to take that leap of faith and put it out on my Instagram. I was like, hey guys, so I'm planning on doing this workshop. Are you guys interested? And then like give me some song recs, which is absolutely essential. But yeah, essentially I did that. And I feel the most ready? No. Do I have everything? No. But since I've put this out, now it's given me the platform to start actually like choreographing the dance, to make arrangements, And I'm just super excited about it. And all it took for me is to take that leap of faith and be like, yeah, I'm doing this, you know? And it also gives me the sense of accountability because now that I put it out, hey, I have to do it. So sometimes you have to do things, you have to act before you feel ready for them. And then the rest follows, the motivation follows. It's just the big scary thing of doing the thing, you know? You got to do it before you can feel it. And when you take action without feeling ready, the tools get handed to you somehow, you know? You figure it out. Like I said, the biggest hurdle is actually taking the step, not the thinking about it part, because I know that we all have so many things that we are always thinking about. Or like, yeah, like, I think I should really do this thing. Like, I've been thinking about doing it. Yeah, like, but this is the problem, like, I don't feel like I'm ready, I don't feel like I have this and that. We've all been there. So what you can take away from this is just act, just take the action, and then the rest will follow. And I could honestly say the same about this episode. Bro, I've been thinking about releasing a podcast episode for the past week. I've been thinking about, oh my gosh, but I just need like the perfect location. I just need the perfect time. I need a good script, yada, yada, yada. No, 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 no. We are going to put out an episode today, Shaylee. How? We're going to record in our car because I've been thinking about it for such a long time, but I've been waiting for all these little things. And then I reminded myself, hey, you know what? This podcast isn't about having the perfect location, the perfect background, you know, the perfect, I don't know, like the perfect time. It's more so about the content and what I'm giving to people, as well as like posting consistently. And that's what I decided to do. I'm like, you know what? We're recording in the car. It's perfect. It's perfect because I'm there and I have my thoughts, and that's all I need. And then I have my cute little mic. Hey. Yeah, but that's genuinely all I need. So once I reminded myself of that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna record this podcast no matter what. So I quickly jotted down my thoughts about it and then recorded. And it's in a free flowing manner, which I usually don't do. Like, not usually, but I haven't done in a while. But I was like, you know what? I have everything I need within me. I just need to organize my thoughts, and that's it. So here's another example of taking action before you feel ready. This podcast. And now that's going to create a sense of like purpose, a sense of confidence, a sense of motivation. It's all here. So all I really had to do was do it, to record it. So I want to make it a point in my life to be more consistent regardless of things being perfect. I think that pulls a bit from the perfectionism that I've talked about in a lot of my episodes. Excuse me. Um, this small act, taking action before I feel ready, is showing my brain that I can do hard things. Yes, you have to show your brain these things. You can't think yourself into, like, into your brain believing that you do things. And that's something that also leads into self trust, right? You have to show your brain that you can do things. So this small act of taking this hard action is showing my brain that I can do hard things without being fully ready. There is a saying that I'm sure you guys have heard too. I've heard it a lot. Do it scared, right? But do it, right? Do the action. And that is something that I've lived today. Not saying that I was scared to record this podcast. No, I was really happy. I love recording podcasts. They just make me happy. They make me feel fulfilled. But yeah, it's just something that really struck with me today. And then I want to bring something from the Gita because, of course, this episode would be incomplete without that because it gave language to something that I already believed. So, Satvana Rupa Sarvasya Shraddha Bhavati Bharata Shraddhamayo Yam Purusho Yo Yachada Sa Evasa. Sorry, I did not mean to butcher that. I hope I did it right. But anyways, everyone's faith conforms to their inner nature. A person is made of their faith. Whatever you place your faith in, that's what you become, right? So, let's talk a little bit about faith, right? When I can talk for myself, whenever I don't know, what to do or where to go to when I'm just absolutely at a loss of thoughts, at a loss of words, and I just don't know what to do. I go to God. And this can be a higher power in any form. It can be God, it can be the universe, it can even be nature. Like one of my friends, she was telling me about how whenever she feels overwhelmed and she doesn't know what to do, she'll go in nature and then she'll just like talk to the trees and talk to, you know, water. And I think that's beautiful. And any form of that is something that you can engage in as long as it's a higher power, something higher, something bigger than you, right? So yeah, I talk to God in the same way. When I was going through some of my darkest times in life, when I didn't know what to do, when I had nowhere to go to, and I just felt down, depressed, and like I had no one to talk to, truly, someone who truly understood me, I'd go to God. I'd go to Shiv Bhagwan. I'd go to Shakti and ask for energy, ask for strength to get through these things. And it truly helps. The power of prayer is real, y'all. It is real. So, I have a personal example for y'all. One time, I needed clarity regarding this podcast, right? I didn't know what to do, or like I wanted like guests on my podcast, but I didn't really know how to get them or like where to get them from. So I prayed to God. I went to the temple, which I've made a daily practice to do. I take my boyfriend and then we go to the temple and pray, and it's really cute. I totally recommend that. It's a cute little activity, cute little date. But anyways, I was like praying. I was like, "Hey God, like I have this podcast, but I feel like I don't really have any guests. Like I need direction." And then I went to the priest and I was asking him a question, and someone overheard that. A guy overheard that, and then he came up to me and he gave me a whole explanation of that, and I was like, "Bing bing bing. Here is my next podcast guest because he seems very knowledgeable and I can have him on my podcast, and he can hopefully help explain concepts that are really hard to understand to people my generation." And I had a chat with him and he was ready to be on my podcast. And that's the guy that we're going to have on the podcast soon. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. But that's an example of times when, like, I've prayed for something and it's just come to me. And that's truly God. That's truly the higher power. So, having faith in that higher power is really important to get through things? So, how does this actually play out in practice? Let me walk you through the interviews. Wait, I need a sip of my Diet Pepsi. Okay. So, I totally felt like an imposter, right? I just kept applying every single day. I got 2 interviews at once. Sorry, y'all. I was interrupted because my boyfriend decided to give me a little surprise. Super cute. But yeah, we're back now. Anyways, um, yeah, so let me walk you through the interviews that I had. I totally felt like an imposter. I kept applying, right? And it just kind of felt aimless because I was like, yeah, I'm applying, but am I actually ready for anything? But I kept going. I aggressively applied because I decided to listen to this piece of advice and act before I felt ready. So I just kept applying aggressively, and then I got 2 interviews, right? And it felt like a lot, but it also validated me, made me feel like, yeah, I am actually qualified for a good job. And I was a ball of nerves going into the first interview. I'd almost taken in a year. Like I hadn't taken an actual interview for a job in like since college. And I was freaking out and internally. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I like prepared for it the most I could. Like I just kept preparing. Like I was studying for a damn exam. Mind my language. Sorry." But as I was taking it, the words just seemed to flow out of me very smoothly, perfectly almost. And it made me go, "Damn, Shaylee, I didn't know you still had it in you." So the interviewer immediately asked when I'd be available for a second round. And the act of taking that interview itself boosted my confidence tenfold. For the second one, through the prep and the act of actually doing it, I felt even more prepared. I advanced to the second round for that one too. unfortunately, unfortunately, I ended up getting rejected from both after the second round. Bummer. But what it did for my self belief did not go unnoticed. Nothing goes to waste, right? Every time you act and you show up, even when you aren't ready, your brain normalizes doing things even when you don't feel ready. Most people wait for the feeling. They wait for the feeling before they act to do the hard thing. But it's actually the other way around, right? Action causes motivation and confidence. Doing the hard thing when you feel unprepared, like taking those interviews, is what created the confidence and the motivation to keep going, right? There's a specific verse for this too. Karmanya कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलहेतुर्भुर्मा ते स्वकर्मणि. So you have the right to your actions, but never a claim on their results. So don't act for the outcome and don't let uncertainty about the outcome stop you from acting either. So let's talk a little bit about delayed gratification because I think that's something that is absolutely essential today's day and age. So here's a smaller, more boring version of the same principle playing out every day. Literally going to the gym every day, making my healthy food, reading for 10 minutes a day. Yes, it's becoming boring now too because in this world of social media and constant simulation, every time you pick the harder, more boring thing over the more stimulating, exciting thing, you're training your brain to enjoy delayed gratification, to want more than instant gratification. And that definitely is not easy in today's world, sorry, where big companies build their entire revenue model around your attention and how many times you pick up your phone. There is a famous psychology experiment that captures this entirely. A kid is It's called the marshmallow experiment. You guys might know it or not, by Walter Mischel. So a kid is left alone in a room with one marshmallow. They're told if you don't eat it before the researcher comes back, you'll get a second one. Then the researcher leaves for about 15 minutes. Some kids ate it immediately. Some kids try to distract themselves and see if they could wait it out. Some tried elaborate tricks too, like looking away, singing, etc., to survive the wait. The researcher, Walter Mischel, later followed these same kids for years and found a correlation. The ones that waited longer tended to have better outcomes decades later, higher SAT scores, better social functioning, lower rates of substance abuse, healthier BMIs. It became one of the most famous findings in psychology that the ability to delay gratification as a kid predicted a lot about life success later on. I think about that marshmallow every time I choose a gym over the couch or 10 minutes of reading over the doom scroll. So, let's talk a little bit about the rejections because they were definitely not pleasant or easy. So, I have to be very honest with you when it comes to rejections because I honestly immediately felt super dejected when both rejections came in. I think that's obviously the normal human response to a rejection. I think a lot of people in the job market can relate to this because we are faced with like so many rejection emails that come into the mail daily, right? So we're kind of desensitized to rejection. But because I advanced the second round of these interviews, this rejection felt more personal. I actually got the reason from one of the companies as feedback. It had to do with me not having practical experience in a particular domain up to that point. That felt a little better to me because honestly, it wasn't about who I was as a person, but more so about like my experience, right? So these rejections felt terrible nonetheless, but I realized the interview process itself had prepared me in a way that practicing on my own just could never have. It gave me practical experience that I could now carry on to other interviews I had, you know? And then the second mindset shift that really helped me was realizing that maybe these particular jobs just weren't for me, you know? Maybe I have something better in store. And I think that's where the faith piece comes in. Believing in God and knowing that what's meant for you will never miss you, truly. So with that, I went back to applying aggressively, and that's where I'm at currently. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what's meant to be will be, like surrender, right? Right now, I'm choosing to let go of whether I get a job or not, whether I get interviews or not. Like the shlok in the Gita says, I'm focused on applying in the best way I can, putting my all into it. I'm not too worried about the outcome. And I go back to this verse whenever I need the reminder. It's the same one from earlier, chapter 2, verse 47. Like, you have a right to your actions, but never a claim on their results. Just focus on the effort, not the outcome. So I think that goes into detachment too, right? Trusting the process and not worrying too much about the outcome means feeling relaxed in my body, means feeling peace in my mind, knowing that what's meant for me will never miss me. I don't have to keep worrying about it, stressing about it, like feeling the pressure. Like, that's not really helping me. Instead, I decide to direct my energy into applying and just aggressively applying in the best way possible without worrying too much about what's going to happen, because I know that the outcome is it's inev- oh my god, is inevitable. Oh my gosh. I just know that what's meant for me will never miss me. So I'm confident that whatever job is meant for me will come to me. I just have to do the thing that I have to do, which is put the effort in by applying, right? Applying constantly. So, what really helps is meditating, visualizing, journaling. I would recommend this. Please do this. It's going to help you so much. So, right now, today, what is the one thing you're going to stop waiting to feel ready for? Pause this video right now. Pause it. Pause it right now. And write down the thing if you still have it. Obviously, you were supposed to do this earlier on, but if you still have it, write it down in the comments. What is a small concrete action that you can take today to move towards it? Like, for example, for me with the dance workshop, the small concrete action was putting out that Instagram story telling my followers, hey, I'm thinking of doing this workshop, right? So, what is the small concrete action you can take today? Write it down so we can build a community where we keep each other accountable and we help each other to grow into our best versions. So please write that down in the comments and make sure you share this video with someone who needs this. And I'm sure your friends and family need this, because all of us have things that we've been putting off. All of us have things that we want to do, but we don't take the action. We just don't do the damn thing. So please send this to your friends, to your family, whoever you think needs this as an act of love. And hopefully, this will also inspire them to just take the action. A person is made of their faith, not their readiness. You have a right to your actions, never claim on the results, and that's one of the core messages of the Gita, which I always go back to. What is meant to be will be, not as a shrug, but as a surrender after you've given your everything to it. So it doesn't mean just like letting go of everything and just whatever is meant to be will be, and like not putting the effort in. You sure have to put the effort in, but but you can surrender too, knowing that whatever you're putting in, whatever effort you're putting in will bear fruit. So that's all you have to do. And that's the dive for today. Go do your thing. Go do the thing. Also as a note, I'm going to start a series soon, like I mentioned earlier, where I'm going to dive into the principles of Hinduism. What exactly is Hinduism? Just, dumb down, like, what is Hinduism? And also some of the practices that we do, some of the rituals we do. Why do we do them? Some common questions. So make sure you comment down if you can, like some common questions that you have about Hinduism, like why we do certain rituals, and go follow my Instagram page. It's linked down, called the Gyan Dive. I recently got a new Instagram page just for the Gyan Dive, so be sure to follow that for updates, as well as to like engage, to put in the questions that you do have. I'll use that to collect those questions, so go follow it. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely rest of your week, and make sure you train your brain by doing the thing. And that's it for today. Bye.